Hey everybody, it's Miss Hilton. Today I am going to teach you something very exciting. We are going to practice reading a book. Don't you just love to read? Some of you might be thinking, Miss Hilton, I don't know how to read yet. But I have some exciting news for you. There's more than just one way to read a book. There are 3 different ways that you can actually read a book. The first way to read a book is the normal way that grown-ups might read to you. You read the words in the book. So when you read the words in a book, you point to the words and you read them exactly how the author wrote them. Of course, it takes a lot of practice to be able to read every word in every book. In kindergarten, we're still learning how to read. So you might not be able to read every word yet, and that's okay. But I'm going to show you how I read the words of a book. We read this book yesterday, and it's called Red. So when I read the words, I look at them and read them exactly how they are. He was red. But he wasn't very good at it. Oh dear. His teacher thought he needed more practice. So when I was reading the words, I read them just how the author wrote them. But that's just one way to read a book. Let's talk about the second way that you can read a book. The second way that you can read a book is number 2. You can read the pictures. So you can read the pictures in a book. So even though this book doesn't have any words on it, I can make up my own words and I can say, there once was a magical unicorn who could fly over rainbows. I made those words up. They weren't actually on the page. And this way is fun because you can look at the pictures and you can look for clues to figure out what happens. So if I looked at the front cover of this book and I read the pictures, I might say, there's a dog and a duck that are reading a book. So I'm going to guess that in this book, the duck teaches the dog how to read. But maybe I should look at some more pictures to see if I'm right. Okay, so I see the dog likes to play. And now I'm looking to see, oh, it looks like he has a friend who's a duck. So when I read the pictures, I flip through, I'm looking for clues to see what happens to the characters in this book. So I practiced looking at pictures to find clues to see what happens. And that's just a whole different way that you can read. Now, there is one last way that you can read a book. Number 3. The last way you can read is when you retell the story. So when you retell a story, you think about a book you've already read before or someone has read to you, a book you already know. And you think, okay, what happened in that book? What was important in that book? I'm going to retell it. So when I retell a story, I think, what is important and what do I say when I talk about the book? So I remember some important things about Red. I remember Red is a crayon and he is actually blue. So in the book, Everyone tries to have him draw red things, like a red fire truck, but it turns out blue. So he keeps trying to draw red things, but he can't do it. And he's starting to feel really sad about it because he's just not good at drawing red things. But finally, his friend Purple asks him to draw something blue, finally. So by the end of the book, he discovers his talent is drawing things that are blue. And in the end, everybody loves the red crown, even though he draws blue. Did I read any of the real words in that book? No, I remembered what we read yesterday and I retold the story. I thought about what happened. I retold the important parts. So now the next time somebody asks you if you know how to read a book, you can say, yes, I know 3 ways to read a book. I can try to read the words, I can read the pictures, and I can retell the story. There are 3 ways to read a book. Now, I want you to practice with a book you have. I want you to practice reading it. So you can choose if you want to read the words, read the pictures, or if you want to retell that book. All right, friends, have fun reading today.